It's time now for the business news, and I'm joined by Stephen Carroll in the studio. Good morning, Stephen.
Hi, Delano.
There have been some high-profile departures, more high-profile departures, in fact, leaving President Trump's American Manufacturing Council.
That's right. 3 company bosses have stepped down from Mr. Trump's committee over his response to the weekend's violence in Charlottesville, Virginia. Intel chief executive Brian Krasnich said he resigned to draw attention to what he called the serious harm being caused by the divided political climate in the United States. That follows similar announcements from the CEO of Under Armour and the boss of the drugs company Merck, Kenneth Fraser, saying he needs to take a stand against intolerance and extremism. Rebecca Rosman has the story.
Stepping down on moral grounds. The CEOs of Intel, Under Armour and the pharmaceutical company Merck resigned Monday from President Donald Trump's American Manufacturing Council after the president failed to quickly condemn the white supremacist march in Charlottesville over the weekend. In a statement posted on Twitter, Under Armour CEO Kevin Plank said the company engages in innovation in sports, not politics. Merck CEO Kenneth Fraser was more direct, stating he was stepping down as a matter of personal conscience, feeling the responsibility to take a stand against intolerance and extremism. Hours later, Trump shot back at Fraser on Twitter, stating now that he had resigned, Fraser would have more time to lower rip-off drug prices. The now 19-member council is meant to advise the Trump administration on how to boost American manufacturing. While many CEOs have stood by Trump for the administration's boost to the U.S. economy, the latest string of resignations isn't the first time business leaders have distanced themselves. Tesla CEO Elon Musk and Walt Disney head Robert Iger resigned from the president's Strategic and Policy Forum in June after Trump said he would withdraw the U.S. from the Paris Climate Accord, while former Uber CEO Travis Kalanick quit Trump's Business Advisory Council in February following pressure from activists over the administration's travel ban.
Let's check in on how the markets are trading for you next. European shares opening up at the start of the trading day. The volumes of shares, though, being bought and sold these days is very low because it is, of course, the height of the summer season here in France. It's a bank holiday in France. The CAC 40 is trading, though, up 0.4% at the open. In Asia, meanwhile, a calming of tensions over North Korea was giving investors some cheer earlier in the session. We saw Japan's Nikkei finish the day up over 1%. Meanwhile, Chinese shares are being boosted by gains, particularly in banks.
Now, Stephen, back here in Europe, the UK is publishing more of its plans for how it wants to deal with EU trade post-Brexit.
Britain wants an interim customs union with the European Union to cover the period after Brexit. The proposal is contained in the first of a series of Brexit position papers that the UK government is publishing this week. Brexit Minister David Davis telling British channel ITV that he didn't think the UK should have to pay for such an interim arrangement. British businesses have been calling for clarity on how trade with the EU will work after Brexit.
Now, some good news for the German economy in the latest round of economic figures released.
Depending on how you look at it, but Europe's largest economy grew by its fastest annual rate in 3 years. Year-on-year growth was 2.1%, supported by rising domestic demand and investment. The quarterly figures were lower than what had been expected, though, at 0.6% growth, the average for the Eurozone. Let's move on with some more of the day's business headlines for you. The price of the virtual currency Bitcoin hit an all-time high of over $4,400. According to CoinDesk, it's now retreating from those highs, with one Bitcoin worth just under $4,300. The rising price has brought the total value of all cryptocurrencies to over $140 billion. Monday was another roller coaster day for shares in Snapchat. The stock price first slumped by almost 5% after restrictions on employees selling shares were lifted, but then the stock price rebounded later in trading to finish the day up 6.5%. Snap's shares plunged last week as major investors sold off their stake in the messaging service. And several producers of the TV series The Walking Dead are suing the cable network AMC, seeking more profits from the show. The lawsuit claims AMC has been holding back money that traditionally would have been handed over to producers of a long-running successful series. The network has dismissed the claims as predictably opportunistic.
Stephen, you're staying in the world of television next, and Netflix has bagged a huge name from ABC.
Absolutely, and that name is Shonda Rhimes. She created series like Grey's Anatomy and Scandal. She's now signed an exclusive deal with Netflix to develop new shows. Now, her current hit shows will still be broadcast on ABC, but hitmaker Rhimes will also remain involved in their production. Her deal with Netflix will be for all of her new shows. This is a big blow for ABC, though. Rhymes's programmes have generated an estimated $2 billion for the company. Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, the list goes on and on.
Shows that are still running.
Still running and still making money.
Seriously. Stephen, thank you very much for that.